Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about people that have, or having, I should say, having the Leo Sun and Scorpio Moon in a natal chart. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. I'm talking about people that have that combination, that Sun Moon combination in the natal chart, Leo Sun and Scorpio Moon. Now, the basic character of the Sun, which is the Sun, in this case being in Leo, can be very flamboyant, gregarious, extravagant, generous, courageous, and attention-seeking. Now, the on the unconscious side, though, which is the Moon, and the Moon in this case being in Scorpio, can be very intense, resourceful, incisive, probing, resilient, and secretive. And like many Sun Moon combinations, in this case there's a strong disparity between these energies because on the conscious side, in this case being the Sun in Leo, of course, is very gregarious and extroverted. Then you have Scorpio, which can also be the opposite because Scorpio tends to, on an unconscious level, the person may be very secretive and private and not really want to divulge too much of his or her business. This could be a combination where the person, could be, the basic, fundamental character, which is the Sun, can be very extroverted, but may not, reveal too much, about his or her personal life. This is, like if this person is asked, personal questions, they may either sidestep it or, just say, look, I don't want to, get into that, but, what's his name? What's his name? The renowned anchor, news anchor, Chris Cuomo, has a Leo Sun and Scorpio Moon. He's, it was interesting how astrology can be humorous. Sometimes there was a segment he had, or some video or segment he had one time, and it said, the beast comes out at night, and I thought it was interesting because Leo is the king, is been referred to as the king of the beast, and Scorpio rules the darkness, so it's like the beast. The Leo is emerging at night, and he does have, at that time on CNN, he had a night, it was a weeknight, newscast he had. It was a news segment he had on CNN. And anyway, going back to this placement, another way this may manifest, a person may bring that Leo ferocity and that confidence and self-assuredness into something Scorpio related, which can include psychology, the occult, which includes astrology. Some other things can include locksmithing, recycling, investigation, transformation, as some examples. And the Sun in astrology reflects our basic wants, and the Leo Sun, wants to shine, get attention, be praised and lauded for his or her efforts. And the Scorpio Moon, the person, the Moon in astrology is about our emotional needs, and Scorpio Moon needs power, likes things that are complex. They need intimate connections and going beyond the surface, what's superficial, going beyond subterfuge, and also too, the true self, which is the Sun, and in this case, the Sun being in Leo. It could be very extroverted, extravagant, boastful, confident. Um, the inner self, which is the Moon, in this case, the Moon being in Scorpio, can be sometimes obsessive, transforming, empowering, and secretive. And in astrology, now the Sun represents our drive and motivation. And in this case, with the Sun being in Leo, the person may be very driven and motivated, which is the Sun, and it could be to dominate, which is Leo. And the person with the Scorpio Moon may do so, feeling very passionate and also with more, desire and emotional intensity in that Scorpio. And now this could be, more adverse if it is in a square aspect. If you have the Leo Sun at 9 degrees. Well, first I want to say square aspect in astrology is 90 degrees, and I use a 10-degree org if at least one personal planet is involved. In this case, you have the two personal planets involved. So as an example, let's say if the Leo Sun is at 9 degrees and the Scorpio Moon is at 14 degrees, that would form a square aspect. And could manifest in some cases as that that domineering, overbearing Leo nature, the basic character, and having also that need to control and have power, and it could be very, like, the energy combined could be very negative. It could manifest in a very domineering, controlling type of a personality, but this is a very strong combination. You have the sun and the moon both being in fixed signs, and the Leo sun is very dominant, just by the general nature of the sun, again, the fundamental personality and character. And the Scorpio moon could have prodigious and very strong strength of character and willpower. So this is a person that could be very relentless and always or almost always see things to the bitter end, whether it's a positive situation or negative. And the thing about this too is, remember that the sun, in astrology, represents the biological father, and the moon represents the mother. Now, the person with the Leo sun may have the biological father, may be a Leo sun, moon, or ascendant person, or embody those characteristics. In somebody, and having a Scorpio moon, the mother may be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or embody those traits. Remember that it's also about the perception of these people. Somebody that has the Leo sun, the perception of the father, maybe, sees the father as somebody that's dominant, strong, courageous, magnanimous, generous, captivating, charismatic, but also could see the biological father as somebody that could be arrogant and domineering. And with the Scorpio moon, the person may perceive his or her mother as somebody that's strong-willed, probing, deep, I would say as well, resourceful. But at the same time, they see the mother as somebody that may be overly controlling or secretive or caustic, as some examples. Now, another thing about this, the moon, represents our home life, and a person with the Scorpio moon, there might be something complex about the home life, or something. A person may be exceptionally secretive about it, given that Scorpio is the sign associated with secrets. And it's also in the home life may be turbulent in some cases with somebody with a Scorpio moon. Now, the sun is about just our general, the sun rules life. It's about our general life. So this is somebody with a Leo sun may want to live a life in which they can find something in which they can dominate it and stand out, and also brightening others' lives, I would say, in the as well. And in the life in which they want to be lauded and praised for their efforts. But again, you have such a strong disparity in this case with this energy, because when you have this, the Leo sun and Scorpio moon, naturally, I would say the person is going to be, much more, maybe not much more, at least a little more, reserved and secretive than the typical Leo sun. It can be much more reserved if you would have other indicators in the chart that could reaffirm this. Like, say, if you have a preponderance of planets on the bottom half of the chart, and let's say you have like an introverted ascendant, feminine ascendant, which would be an ascendant sign in water or earth, like a Cancer ascendant, can outwardly be very introverted and shy, being timid, and as an example. And Taurus rising is another example. Can be enamored with domestic interests, and often don't overabundance of people in your life. I would know something about that being a Taurus ascendant. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.